Live on NewDay, and quickly we'll get into the newspapers now. Before that, though, we have a young lady. She is a talented, budding singer, one to watch, I must say. And well, she's credited, with the evolution of Ghana music. She's done quite a number of, songs. I'm sure you've heard of the Bafira and the like. Very soon she'll be joining us to just give us an exclusive one that she's working on. So we have Aduma in the studio. And before we get to her, though, let's look at what the newspapers are saying this morning. I will start off with the Daily Graphic. Now, the Daily Graphic has on its front page, Power Shape arrives. Power Shape arrives. Power Shape arrives. That's the biggest headline on the front page of the Daily Graphic. But the Power Minister is quick to add that it's not a panacea for doomsday. And it also has a picture of the president and his vice. Emisa Arthur, Mohammed Emisa Arthur, ticket for NDC in 2016 is a story in the paper. Also, Kotoko wins swag cup, 14th time we're told. Kotoko wins swag cup, and it's on the back page of the Daily Graphic. Now, the Daily Guide has on its front page, says, we will crush spies in the NPP, and that's coming from the flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party. We'll crush spies in the NPP, Nana declares. And also on it says, power barge won't end doomsday, and Afoko boy suspended. Those are the stories on the Daily Guide. And the Business and Financial Times, BNFT, says GNPC tables oil plant to board in weeks. It tables the oil plant to board in weeks. And fiber optic operators call for cable protection law. Also, poultry farmers lament government empty promises, and that's also captured on its front page. And those are the stories on the BNFT. The final newspaper has a feature, well done, a very well written story. It says Doomsaw, the untold story. Doomsaw, the untold story. And 10 dismissed staff of ADB sue the bank, sue ADB. And Give Assembly members instrument of office, also captured on the front page of the Finder newspaper. The Ghanaian Times equally has a story on the power barge. It says power barge in, but minister says it's no solution to doomsday. Power barge in, but minister says it's no solution to doomsday. Man steals electric and sells electricity to neighbors, and that's on the front page of the Ghanaian Times. And Ghanaian Marshal robbed in South Africa. And Commonwealth states vow to fight corruption. Remember yesterday, I believe David Cameron also spoke up about it. So the General Telegraph has on its front page, says Herbert Mensah drags Senator Rawlings to court. And this started making the news over the weekend. And NPP's claims of government involvement in party office raid is wicked and malicious, and it's coming from the Communications Minister, Dr. Omane Boamah. And also January reacts to age cheating report and the like. That's on the back page of the General Telegraph. And the Ghanaian Observer, my final paper for the morning, says national security fingered over NPP HQ raid, NPP headquarters raid, and government sets up slush fund to foment trouble in the NPP. And that's coming from the acting chairman of the party. Lawyer cautions new IGP over raid at NPP HQ. And money box at NEC Prime. Those are stories captured on the Ghanaian Observer. We will start off with the power barge, and for many weeks or months we had been looking forward to it. The government had said it was an emergency power, but some say, well, it's taking to emergency is when you have it now, but it's taking too long. But it's in finally. And the Power Minister, Dr. Kwabena Donkor, says, well, indeed, it's not an end. It will not necessarily eradicate doomsday. But let me introduce my guest for the morning. I have the MP for Tema East, Daniel Ni Kwate, Titles Glover. A very good morning to you and welcome as well. Thank you very much for joining us. Also good to see you. And also the national organizer for the National Democratic Congress, Mr. Kofi Adams. Good morning to you as well, and welcome.
Thank you.
I hope you both had a fantastic weekend, though.
Well, we met at a brother's funeral together, Titi Brothers,
and
a very good friend of mine.
Okay.
And we grew up together in Tema. He lived in Committee 4 whilst I was in Committee 1.
Okay.
We played ball together, Pilolo and stuff like that.
Pilolo, you take us back.
Yeah, so he lost his mom, so we were there too.
Okay, all right. So you met him then.
Yeah,
all right, great. All right, I want to start off with you. The comment yesterday, I was monitoring the news as always, and the commentary of, on the arrival of the power barge was that, well, yes, it won't end doom. So, but why hold a ceremony? A lot of people thought it was irrelevant, honestly, to hold a ceremony. Your thoughts on it?
Well, I thought, first of all, good morning to your viewers and my constituents in the east of Tema. But I think that we've had this euphoria and government apparatchiks and communicators and appointees of government. I mean, all the time telling us that the power badge is coming, blah, blah, blah. I remember the then energy minister, my brother Kofi Amabua, was being the chamber, and a whole lot of things that have been said about it. At the time when he being set off from Turkey, he's been monitoring on the radar and all that. Journalists were sent to Turkey a couple of times to find out there was initial hurdles in terms of financial arrangement and all that. So immediately it's set off, we were told. And when it got to Cote d'Ivoire, when he entered Ghanaian waters, it was being monitored critically until it finally birthed at the Tema port, at the fishing harbour. So yesterday, I was not aware. I was on my way to church when the hustler in the port gave me a call. The Honorable, we've seen all the big guys around, my chief in Tema and his traditional team. The
and falls directly under your constituency.
Absolutely. So I have to go back and change and rush to the place. So when I got there, I saw my 3 colleagues of parliament, Kofi, Kofi Boa, Kobna Donko, Atu Forsin, then Felix. So I told them what they've done is wrong because we are colleagues. At the time that they were in parliament, they should have even hinted me because the badge is in my constituency in the port. So the war together, this is a national project. It is not an NDC project where you want to project the thing as an NDC project and all that. So I gave my short queries and we did the ceremony. But from the indication I had was that the president would do the formal commissioning. Absolutely. And listening to the chief executive of the power badge, he said that they are yet to do the connection. But they've erected the pylons with all the running wires through. So they need to do some technical work, and when that is done, the power will start running. But the caution and my worry is the fact that this euphoria should continue, because what we need to do is that the most essential thing for us to do is the fact that the light crude or the fuel that will be used in powering the generation of this electricity is the most crucial thing. We don't want these things to be a white elephant. You understand? Because when you come back into fishing harbour, you have the VRA plants there. We have the mines reserve plant and have VRA machines there. They cannot run them because there is no fuel to run it. So my worry and my concern is that government should ensure that wherever the money is to enable this power badge to run should be possible. If we are not able to sustain it only for a while, that means that the essence of bringing this machine is going to be a white elephant. So it's a good news that it has come. The cost of running it is not going to be an easy thing. So all that we are saying is that yes, we welcome it, but we are yet to find out whether indeed it is going to solve the problem. But it's not the final panacea to the energy crisis.
I mean that has been said, yes, but
not going to be the panacea to the energy crisis. The major term, I keep saying these things, my dear, that the short term, government is supposed to commit monies to run the machines. You are owing the Nigerian West African gas pipeline. They are owing $180 million, and they went to pay about $10 million. The remaining has not been done. VRA is also owing its creditors over billions of dollars. How are we sustaining to get these debts clear off our back? And if we are able to do these things, at least we'll be able to look at the long-term arrangement that government has done in terms of infrastructure and all that. But in the short term, the monies that they are owing, at least what we do, because
we'll get more details,
in the constituency, I have a lot of factories there. My sister, people are suffering.
Okay, Mr. Titus, actually we'll get, because the Finder has done an extensive story on on Doomsaw and how much VRA needs and all that. My question really was about the relevance of holding an opening ceremony or drumming and dancing because the power badge has
there was no drumming and dancing per se. when I got there was no drumming. But I think that traditionally, because the vessel or the barge has come into the Tema port and is within the Tema Traditional Council, the landowners, the Ludia landowners, were invited to come and pray for the safe arrival and all that, and at least to give a brief of what the barge is coming to do. But from the indication I had, after the technical aspect is done, then the president will come and do what I want to do.
Thank you.
But as to whether they did, maybe the government, you can explain better.
Okay. All right. Mr. Kofi Adams, I mean, I saw a lot of, what they call memes and the like on social media about how irrelevant this is. They want light. And of what importance is, a ceremony like that to the function for which the barge was brought?
Thank you and good morning to your viewers.
Sure.
And let me also take this opportunity to wish His Excellency the President a belated happy birthday. He's out there performing national assignment. He's been running around so energized, well prepared and ready to carry this country further. The ceremony is important. The activity that took place there was a traditional ceremony, as he rightly said. I'm surprised why he wouldn't straight away go to indicate that what people are talking about is wrong. Because when you want to commence a project, there is always what we call a ceremony to commence the project. There's this batch that has come is going to be situated in an area in a particular. So for its arrival, it's more like starting the project, cutting salt for commencement of the project, and usually libation is poured for whatever. Like you said, the alluvial landowners will be invited to come and pour libation because they own the land. That was what happened on Saturday following its arrival. Work will now commence in terms of work on Ghanaian side of connecting the cables and what have you that could draw power from the power ship to the Greco facility and onward transmission to ECG for domestic use. So I think that the ceremony is very important. People must not always think that when we say a ceremony, it means there will be merrymaking or what have you. You have to do a ceremony to receive, because somebody is bringing something to you. It was on the high seas. It has arrived. So you have to receive it. So the reception to receive the power ship itself is described as a ceremony. And so I don't see anything wrong whatsoever with what took place there. Rather, it is the discussion of it that is to me a problem. We behaving as if now we are masters of what? Everything. That even what we do not understand, we want to comment about. Even what we were not there, we want to talk about and add all kinds of things. And like Titus said, he was there, I wasn't there. He didn't see any merrymaking, dancing and then drumming. What happened was the pouring of libation, the comment by the boss of Greco, the power minister, and also the company that sold or did the transaction with government of Ghana as far as the power badge is concerned. He also made his comment. And like he said, within a matter of a week, Greco said they will be done with their part of work. Then also the connection of fuel, which GMPC have already signed an agreement with the car power ship to supply them with fuel to be able to power the system. That is also there. So they will also do the connection of the fuel component. And in about 2 weeks, if everything goes well, the power badge should be ready for work, should be ready to go. So that is the assurance that we have. As to the part of the MP complaining of not being informed, I thought this was a news that was out there as to when the ship was going to arrive, and they indicated that bearing any mishap. So as the one who is an MP in the area, knowing very well that that is where the power ship was going to dock, maybe you should have also put a mechanism in place to get information as to what was going to happen. I'm not blaming you entirely, but I think that we should not always push the heavy blame on others, especially that there will be a bigger ceremony to commission it, and that is where maybe the participation of the Honourable Member of Parliament for that area would definitely be on the agenda. But for this one, I thought that there should have been some kind of collaboration also from his end to be able to know what is happening. Is he really coming? Because it's my area,
okay,
so I would also prepare to be there.
But Mr. Kofi Adams, like you mentioned, if you have to do a ceremony to receive it officially, it meant that you had to tell people who are key to it. So I could have also taken a phone call or a letter to officially say, oh, this will be done in your.
That's what I'm saying. They ask for the ceremony to receive it. It's not a big one, and the alluvial landowners are there, so they will necessarily have to be informed. It's more like sword cutting ceremony. The commissioning will come later. I am not putting the blame entirely on him, but I think that reading the news as we read, knowing very well that it has taken off, the expected date of arrival was this, bearing any eventualities, which I know the Honourable MP was very much aware of. I'm only saying that sometimes let us also initiate a process. Don't let us also wait and sit back looking for a lapse to go and blame. But I'm happy that despite the lack of information, he did the honourable thing. He actually even suspended an already scheduled program and joined them. That is the way. That's the way to go. It wasn't because anybody was trying to paint the project as an NDC project. That was why he wasn't invited. Otherwise, then the chiefs would not be invited to come and pour.
Thank you, Mr. Kofi Adams.
So that part of his presentation was what I thought that shouldn't have come in. I thought that somebody was trying to make it. Of course, it is the NDC government that has done this arrangement and has brought it in. I do know the comments by some associates of MPP and so on against this arrangement.
Mr. Kofi Adams, your point is well made. Thank you. Thank you very much. Mr. Tyson Goba, I would actually want to move the conversation forward, please, because I asked him, it's a follow-up question that I did ask about.
Kofi is trying to be a bit critical because legitimately I've raised.
But before you continue, what when you query them, what reasons were assigned as to why you weren't invited?
They apologized to me just like that, and I took it in good faith. You see, a normal phone call or text message will have done. If writing to me officially is a problem, but these are three key members of my colleagues in Parliament. You know, and we fraternize so well. Kofi could have called me. Look, Daniel, we are coming, so just organize yourself, that kind of thing. So I think that it is a caution to all of us, you know, to make sure that we all together build the country. Not but if you have the opportunity to invite other people, you have their thought in mind to invite them. And the city MP, you say, what are you talking about?
Mr. Tyson Glover, I have to say this though. The Kapa itself, the company itself, they weren't happy about the, like you said, the euphoria, the way the media was carrying it. And initially, the media had prepared to receive it on Sunday, and it came a day earlier, or on Saturday, sorry, and then it came late. And because they had monitored proceedings and thought that the whole festive mood that we're in was just too much for them and didn't want to be communicating. And so there was a bit of, to swerve the media.
You see, Ghanaians have been in these difficult times where this NDC Mama-led administration has plunged this country into total darkness. So the media are so eager to see exactly what this power badge is coming to do. I know some of my colleagues, they accosted me, so they were not even allowed into the compound of the vessel. Somewhere left behind. It's only the TV cameras that I saw, your station and few others that I saw close to the vessel and all that. But in terms of the radio stations and all that, they were all kept outside. So at the reception where they all thronged to the place, to try to engage some of the personalities around and all that. But I think that yes, it has come. It's welcome. Let's see the good news that is going to come out of it.
All right. So to that critical point here, the Friday newspaper has done an elaborate, story. It says Doomsor, the untold story, and it talks about what must be done. VRA, how much they need, the amount of money they need, power budget itself, the power budget itself would need. And let me just pick a tad of just a paragraph or two of the story. And it says that the Volta River Authority needs at least $30 million a month to buy light crude oil, LCO, to fuel thermal plants in Tema and Takoradi to generate some 520 megawatts of power to, ameliorate the worsening power crisis that we're in. Now, the Abazi Enclave, when you look at VRA, is required to raise an amount of $50 million every month, also to buy LCO. And then you have, the another 300 megawatts. And then it says that you need about $50 million again for the TTI as well. So there's a lot of money we have the system in place. We have Kofi Adams, I want to start from you. We have it, but VRA needs money to function, to even buy crude for this one that we have. How are we going to do that? It's always been the case,
but for this particular power chip, it's so clear that the fueling arrangement is there. The GMPC has had an arrangement with the car power ship in terms of the supply of the crude, that's the HFO, the heavy fuel oil, to be able to power this car power ship. So the fuel arrangement for this particular one is not going to be a problem. What it is that will be a problem going on is our readiness to do our side of the bidding, to pay our bills as we must, so that the ECG, which is the distributing agency, can get their money and pay to VRA and then Gridco, so that these agencies can in turn also pay back. You are right when you say they need so much to be able to power the various thermal plants, because it's expensive to power thermal plants. It's actually, hydro seems to be the cheapest. Solar is good, but the case is that you need huge land to be able to just get a very little megawatts. If you go to Navrongo, the 2 megawatts solar plant that was built there when we came to power not too long ago, if you look at the land area that you would have to use to build just 2 megawatts, it tells you that even though it's also cheap and the way to go, it's not quite easy at all. There's a Chinese company also that is doing one in the central region also. And if you look at the acreage that they have to take to be able to build that amount of power, it means that you need quite a lot of land to do so. So thermal will be the next source that we would have to go, and a combination. And in terms of thermal, because of breakdowns, you need to build a lot more. You don't just build, for example, if the needs is about, say, 4,000 megawatts, you build exactly 4,000 megawatts. You may get to a point where you will have challenges, you have difficulties of breakdown, as it happened in recent times, where we heard so many people say that, oh, it is lack of money to buy fuel. That was not the case. At the time, people were saying that it was lack of money to buy fuel. VRA, through its board chairman, indicated clearly that they have more than 30,000 barrels of crude in their storage facility in Takoradi area. So it wasn't the issue of getting fuel to power those plants. It was as a result of a breakdown that was taking quite a long time to fix.
Yeah, but we're told that currently, the indebtedness, VRA, is about $2 billion.
The debt is another. As for the debt, it's been building over the years. VRA was owing before even 2001. Their debt level increased. When we brought in what Dr. Charles Rekubrobe described as the toy generators, it even increased the burden of VRA. I sit on a company's board, Bust, whose fuel they were forced in 2007 to release virtually all their fuel to power those diesel generators. Up to date, that debt is still sitting on our books. Not a dime has been paid. It affected the running of those diesel generators, seriously affected the books of VRA. And that was why this government was so smart that no, yes, it's true there is a problem, but do we go through the same chain of treatment to cause further damage to the economy and to the company, or we do what is right. If you want me to do an analogy, as sometimes I always love to do, it's like you suffering from a simple malaria. The easiest treatment is antesonate amodiaquine. When you take antesonate amodiaquine, you will feel some disturbances in your system. It's not always the best thing to feel. Some people, because they don't want to take it, would rather want to go for paracetamol and the rest to knock off the symptom of malaria, which is headache and feeling feverish. When you do that, you are not knocking off the plasmodium parasite in your system. You are only allowing them to be energized and destroy further organs in your system. When that happens, antesonate amodiaquine alone can no longer work. You will need other system of treatments to deal with the organs that they would have been destroyed. My point is that what we needed to do when we saw this situation early in the 2000s, we did not do that. We went for a system of diesel-powered generators that we would describe as toy generators that caused a heavy hemorrhage, resulting in the company's books being so bad. Today, with this arrangement, as some of you journalists who went there saw, and some of the MPs went there and saw and came back, it is cheaper, far, far, far cheaper than the diesel-powered generators, toy generators that we went for. So meaning that the company can operate, be able to sell their power to consumers at not too high a price and still make even and be able to run. That is what we are talking about smart thinking, smart behavior. But that may take some time. Like the ordinary malaria treatment, which was not done in time, and it has resulted in a higher case where the patient now have to move to a higher health facility for even a consultant to deal with. That is what has happened to us. But the Mahama administration is determined to deal with the issue of power shortage so that industries, like Title said, that many of them suffered for some time, will no longer suffer. Energy shortages will be the thing of the past.
Okay, all right. Mr. Titus Glover, I mean, the point he's making is that yes, the debt is there, all right, but then arrangements have been made so with the car power ship and the like will not necessarily be affected by debts, even though you need the VRA to be in a position where they can equally be attractive to banks and the like.
Thank you very much. I recall that when this problem came in our time, the very diesel generators that he's making point out was one of the arrangements that was made to help solve the energy crisis at that time. As we speak now, that very energy generated machines has been sent to Sierra Leone or something. The government has sent it there. If you think it's a bad machine, why do you send it to Sierra Leone? They are making money out of it because they've rented it to the Sierra Leonean government to assist in the production of energy to drive the economy. Retrofitted from about 900 to about 1,100, 200 megawatts just to boost the production of energy and all that. Sister, you've made a thing so clear here. Excuse me, your paper. I'm hearing some funny figures.
Where do you want to go?
I want to go to the VR thing.
The VR, that's a doom. So the
untold story. And Kofi was dodging the whole issue. Look, we have been told that VRA would need about $30 million every month to generate 520 megawatts.
Yes.
Now, when you go to Abuati Enclave, they need another $50 million every month to buy LCO for the Takrady thermal power plant. They will come back and for our 300 megawatts, 520 plus 300, making what? 820 megawatts, with a combination of $45 million every month. Now, when you come further to the thermal enclave, they will need another $50 million to give us 110. So the question I want to ask is that, how much are they committing on this power budget that has come to give us only 250 megawatts? It is going to be more expensive empowering the budget. He knows. So, arithmetically or economically, it does not make sense. If your own VRA, because government is going to look for money, to look for fuel or light crude, whatever, to power the budget that has come. So, if you are going to use an expensive amount of money to power a batch that is going to produce 250 megawatts, and you have your own machines that can give 520, 300, 110, And all together, you're going to use about $60 million every month. Compared to the money that you're going to spend on the power badge. For me, it does not make economic sense. So that is what we want the government, Commander should come and tell us. Practically, how much are they committing our money to power the power badge? And for me, that is going to give us the opportunity to know.
We've had depending on the behavior of our city, that they need about between $7 and $9 million a month.
So do you see how useless it is? It does not make sense.
How?
It does not make sense because you're inefficient as a government. Because the city has deteriorated, so depreciated against the dollar. And for that matter, you want to look for all these monies. And for me, it's a very serious matter that you have to look at it and deal with it. Because why can't you solve the money that we are?
So you think we should resolve the debt situation?
The debt of VRA, it's a running cost. I remember when President Mama was the running mate for Professor Mills, when the said established the Northern Development Fund. President Mama then said they should use that money to go and pay the VRA debts. Today, for 7 years, what has been his commitment in paying the VRA debts? It's in their books. He's the president of the country. What has he done to pay the VRA debts and all that? So I think that the situation that we find ourselves today, you're looking at the cost of this energy crisis. I slept in the dark yesterday. My wife slept on the bare floor. My last born slept on the bare floor. I washed down.
You don't have a generator?
I don't have a generator.
Why?
Sometimes I feel bad within my neighborhood. I can afford to buy a small generator. But I just want to feel the way the ordinary man is feeling within my community. There are 2 people who have generators on my line, but I decided to let it stay. So let me feel the way the people are feeling. Maybe Kofi has a generator, so he doesn't care.
All right.
But the costs of this energy crisis in this country, people who have died in our hospitals, jobs that have folded up, people who have lost their jobs in my constituency, 4 years in this dilemma. Okay. My sister, is a very hard cost for all of us. Seriously. So we cannot compromise on these excuses and all that. The money that you are owing, find a way to pay it.
All right. So that in the short term, breakdown. Okay, all right. There's a breakdown. I'm sorry, just a moment. There's a breakdown of the VRA's indebtedness. You have the results of failure of ECG, the Independent Power Producers IPP, and the Volta Aluminium Company. You have Valco, and to pay VRA for services rendered, as well as the unrealistically low tariff sanctioned by the PURC. And VRA buys fuel for 30 pesos to generate 1 kilowatt of power, but consumers pay 14 pesos. So consumers even do not pay half of what it costs to produce a kilowatt of power.
We have used, Bridget, we've been using hydro for over 4 to almost 5 decades now. And environmentally, you could see the damage that we have suffered because of our reliance on hydro and all that. Therefore, other sources of energy need to be looked at, i.e. thermal and other things to look at it. We've had these things a couple of times that the rates that we are paying on this energy is not enough, and most of the time the PRC have to come in to try to support. Even in this doomsday situation that power is not reliable, we are being asked to pay more for services that is poorly delivered and all that. So I think that yes, there's a need for us to look at it, whether realistically it is indeed justified in this situation to call for more increase, or we should wait for the problem to be resolved. Then we'll look at as a nation whether indeed we should justify and get it done. I have heard some write-ups from the Association of Ghana Industry who are even saying that there's a need for government also to look at the energy, as to how industry, the support that they want to get from government, for industries, as to how they can have the support, even to reduce the rates, even what they pay, because it doesn't make them competitive, as a manufacturing concern and all that. So it's a huge problem. So for 7 years, this country, this government should be doing more.
Mr. Kofi Adams, we understand that the government, VRA is indebted to the tune of $1.3 billion to the banks. And NGAS, provides about 25% of what we have, and so to prevent what we had, where NGAS threatened to cut gas, we must find the money to pay them, because then VR is not attractive to even the bankers.
First and foremost, we're telling the stories in a wrong way. Everybody gets up and want to put out something there without
this is the wrong way to tell the story.
Checking the arrangements that is between VRA and which company, whether VRA has an arrangement with the transporters who transport, or they have an arrangement with NGAS, or who actually they have an arrangement with. Okay. That was what resulted in the Power Minister interview he held with one gentleman, and was asking whether you owe them, or he would do all kinds of stories. So it is a fact, yes, that VRA's books is not in the best of situation, and some of us have tried to trace the history of this situation. You have laid out some in this write-up as to paying lower rates as compared to the unit cost of what? Production. Daniel talks about importation of light crude. This very bad, as has always been said, sometimes they refuse, whether it's intentionally or he's just refusing to listen. It's not going to use light crude. It's not going to use diesel. It's going to use heavy fuel oil, HFO. That has been stated clearly. Some of your colleague MPs from the minority side were part of the delegation that went to Turkey, and they took them through all this process, did the calculation. So everything is clear as far as this arrangement is concerned. It's the most cost-effective and cost-efficient system now in terms of the thermal arrangement. If you take away other the use of other reactionary systems that sometimes we don't want to go in there. But in terms of using of fuels, this is the most cost-efficient, cost-effective system, use of heavy fuel. Indeed, with the arrangement by this government tackling and reviving a lot of companies, Tor soon will also start full operation with a partnership with their Saudi partners that are coming in. Tor will start production. When Tor starts, the getting of this heavy fuel will even become easier and even much more cheaper, because they will be able to supply it to the power ship for it to power and generate enough power for us. The Valco also owing so much. What's the arrangement between government of Ghana, Valco, which we own now, and VRA? Are we paying VRA the power they supply to Valco? The answer is simple, no. So without even the Tor recovery levy, which titles know too well that they introduced and never settled a dime of the Tor debt, the government has been able to clear significant amount of this debt that is associated with Tor, and Tor will be ready, even injecting almost close to about $30 million again after dealing with the debt. I would not see the depreciation. It's not an area that we have to go, because it takes a lot of activity to get where you have gotten to. You remember when we launched the new Ghana cedi, the comment His Excellency President J. Kufuor made then was that the cedi is now stronger than what? The dollar. That was in somewhere about July, August of 2007. By the time of 2008, when they have to hand over, the cedi had depreciated strongly against the dollar by almost 1.2 something. Meaning that the depreciation that we have witnessed today did not just start yesterday, or did not start
I think that's perfectly clear
under the Muhammad administration. But to attempt to blame it on an administration when you cannot point to steps you took to reduce importation, there is no single step as compared to what the Muhammad administration is doing. That look, we're importing a lot of sugar into this country. We are spending close to $400 million bringing in sugar. Can we, as a government, take steps to build that capacity on our own so we can save that money? Can we build capacity to be able to produce even rice? Can we build capacity of poultry farmers so that we can produce chicken, and reduce importation? These are steps that when you take we can say that you are dealing with the problem that affects the country in terms of the weakening of its currency, because you always have to change your cedi to dollar to be able to import. And these steps don't just work overnight. It takes some time to be able to put these factories, to be able to put these systems in place. And correctly so, that is happening. Government is investing in the appropriate sector. But back to energy, because it talks about cedi depreciation, I have to just deal with how to solve the cedi depreciation. It's not just saying that you inject a lot of dollars into the system, then you solve. No, you must do what we are talking about and what we are doing. On the energy, it is true that we have suffered some darkness over the years. But like somebody would say, and most of the time we have talked and talked and talked. People say, don't talk about Nahu Kosa. It takes some time. Retrofitting that he talked about is true. When the Akosombo Dam was done, it was producing just about 610 megawatts or so, or thereabout. It was retrofitted, increased to 920, and they did further retrofitting to 1020. But retrofitting don't put water in the dam. The problem we have with Akosombo today is that there is not enough water in the dam. It is not because the turbines are not working. So whether you retrofit or you do what, if there is no water in the dam, you cannot power the turbine. The turbines will just not work. And that is why you need to invest in alternatives that will not rely on the weather. But those alternatives also will depend on a buoyant, solid economy, which this government is determined and is building. And Titus sees it. He knows it. He is seeing visibly what is happening in various areas. But he decides, because of maybe purposes of politicking, sometimes we try to hide the truth about what is happening to build industry for future generation and development.
Mr. Papa, yeah, just okay, and then we'll move on.
Let me report one misleading statement that he made about the toll recovery levy. You're also refusing to admit the fact that toll recovery levy was duly paid. He's saying that
who paid?
Please hold on. You misled the public. You said that we never paid a dime on toll recovery levy. That's a big lie. It's a probably lie. Toll recovery levies that were collected in our time were used to settle toll debts. You came and you continue collecting. Since you came from the days of Professor Mills, you have been collecting toll recovery levy.
No.
Have you been paying? Don't even go there. And again, my dear sister, you came at a time when the cedi to the dollar was 1.42. Today it's almost close to 3.8. And you want to hide your inefficiencies on we that we should be paying. I don't agree from where Kofi is coming from. Don't pass your inefficiencies on Ghanaians to go and settle these debts, these things for you. It is your duty. You have been voted to power to redeem the people of this country. That is how you can plan. As a businessman, as a manufacturer, as a Ghanaian, you wake up in the morning, you can't even think straight. And that's the situation we find ourselves. Okay. Maybe he's not running the company. So he's not running the business.
I think
if he's really running the business and you see how businesses are collapsing, you not come here and try to say things that you can't even justify about it. Do you understand? Go to the street. You are from Bethlehem or whatever, Bethlehem. You have the people there. Ordinary man on the street who even put ice water on the head.
All right. Points well made.
Share incompetence.
Just on the toll
30 seconds.
30 seconds.
There's nothing that you can do about it.
The build up of prices is there for everybody to see. Right, there is no toll recovery levy on the build up of prices. And it is so clear that when the accounts was audited, the toll recovery levy account was audited, it was found out that part of those monies went into paying MPP communicators.
That is a big lie.
No.
They use the money.
They use the money to communicators.
We don't know.
It was there. It was there.
We'll have to move on.
They use the money to pay their communicators. Never settled anything.